How does it feel to be in first place?
Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. We've been chasing for a long time. Cincinnati's put a lot of pressure on us. I was telling somebody today, I don't know how many conference races I've been through, and I don't know how many are going on right now where 11, 12 games in, one team has no losses and one team has one loss. I mean, it's just like, the pressure every game to keep up for us and for them, I'm sure, it just kind of keeps mounting. And finally to get the opportunity to get them back here. But that's the good news. The bad news, there's a lot of, at least for us, I haven't checked their schedule, but for us, a number of tough games left. So a lot of challenges. I've always said conference races those are the toughest things, not conference tournaments, postseason tournaments. The long grind, the pressure, and all the ups and downs that go through a conference race, that's the toughest period of the year, and we're right in the middle of it. And but it does feel darn good to finally be in this position.
What'd you think about that crowd?
They I don't know how many points they scored, and I don't know how many steals they got, but it's some. I don't know how you measure it, but that crowd was fantastic. We were rated last year before the season. They rated us the #1 toughest home court in the league, which we're very proud of. And I don't think we hurt ourselves tonight at all. I hope we get some more like that down the stretch. It's amazing what it does for the energy of your guys and for their confidence. And I'm just really thankful. I love our home court.
When did how your guys responded? I mean, they got on the 12-0 run there early in the second half, and then you guys scored 15 in a row. Just talk about how they responded and didn't give in.
Yeah, we tried to trick them. We tried to let them get way ahead and get a false sense of security. Not a great time to dig that hole. Obviously, the hole earlier in the game is always doable, but the later it goes. But our guys don't panic, or I haven't seen them panic. And at every time out, every time we could talk to them, we just said, hey, we're right there. We just, we got to shore up the defense a little bit. We made a couple adjustments, and they were fantastic in executing those. I thought we did a tremendous job of playing hard and tough without fouling, which was, for me, was going to be the #1 thing of the game. We got in foul trouble all over the place. We were going to be in a mess, okay? We were going to be in a big mess. But our guys managed to just play right through that. And I thought, for me, well, if you look at the second half, to answer your question, I kind of got off track, but dug the hole, and then from that point on, I thought played the best defense we played all year, bar none. As tough and hard-nosed and committed as we've been. And we've been a very good defensive team. And at the same time, then all of a sudden our offense took off. And look at our numbers. We shoot 62 from the field in the second half and 55 from three. You're going to win a lot of games if you throw those numbers up there, but when you're holding them to 25 in the second half, that was a great half. That was just guys wanting it so bad. We are a very, very competitive group. We're pretty mature. We're pretty poised, and they understand it's a long game, and we play through. We play through some runs, and we definitely did that today.
Specifically, was there anything that y'all did differently in the second half compared to the first half defensively?
There definitely was some things we did differently. We things that we want to do early in the game, but because of foul trouble, we don't feel like we can take the risk. And I would tell you, but we may have to play them again, so I actually don't want to just give them our scouting report. I just want to hand it to them, but I will tell you that the way we want to play them is not the way I feel like we can play them for 40 minutes. So we try to get as far along as we can, and I will say this, a humongous factor in allowing us to make the change, the switch that we were able to make is the fact that Ben and Shimmy had zero fouls for the longest time, and then I think Ben might have picked up one, and then of course later on it started working against us. But we were in a good position when that happened, when Ben was gone, and so now we could play a little ball control and use the offense for our defense a little bit. But it's not something that we figured out during the game. We knew ahead of time, but we just didn't feel like we could take the risk. so we have to protect our guys as long as we can.
What did you think of Ben Meligu tonight?
He was fantastic. He was fantastic. But you know what? He's been great. I say this all the time. I know I'm a broken record on a lot of stuff, but it's stuff that I'm passionate about. I feel very strongly. Been doing, these for years, and, we're going to always talk about the leading scorer. He was the best player, the guy, and sometimes he is, don't get me wrong. I mean, you got to have guys who can score the ball, and I love guys that can score the ball, but so many times a guy is playing terrific. He just doesn't score many points or doesn't have a great shooting night. Ben Moore is one of those guys. If you just watch Ben Moore every night, whether he gets 19 points or tonight he didn't score very many, but Ben is only doing about 75 great things out there. Trust me, from a winning. If you're watching winning, Ben Moore is always helping you win. Benny Maligu's the same way. Ben is underappreciated by a lot of people, but not by our staff and not by his teammates. He guards like crazy. He's very smart. He's in the right place. He makes plays for others. He's tough. He very good passer. He's made over this year. He's made some just kind of high-level IQ passes to understand sort of what we're doing. At Tulsa the other day, a couple games ago, he was igniting us. Other guys are scoring. He was the kind of trigger man on a lot of things that we were running. Made great plays. Nobody talks about it. So. How is he? He's a heck of a player. When he scores, he is a really, really, really good player. But for me, I love it when he scores because then everybody start looking at him, and he deserves to be looked at.
Tim, the adjustments you guys might have made over the last 16 minutes was just trying to play everybody straight up and not doubling when it went inside to kind of stay out on the perimeter on their threes. Is that fair?
So now you're going to give away all our secrets right here. No,
Hey,
no.
if I could see it.
That was part of it. Yeah, yeah, because if you look at what was happening in the first half, particularly, and it was nobody's fault on our team. We felt like we had to dig down. We had to give some support, so we just don't play. I call it one-on-one in the driveway. Remember when you used to play one-on-one, you just back a guy down, for like an hour, and there's no refs, and you just back them down until you're like 1 foot, and then you foul, and then the other guy calls a foul, and then you get mad at him, and then you fight. But that's a whole nother story. But I don't want them to play one-on-one in the driveway, and so we had to dig down. And how many threes did they kick out? I think in the first half they made 1 3 off a fade screen, which was a good play, and the rest of them I think were all post feed kickouts, which is what they do great. This is what they do great. They have great post players, they have great shooters, and they do a wonderful job of while they're dribbling is seeing where you're coming from and find the open man. And not only do they do that, they set up deep. They set up at NBA spacing. These guys are shooting. They're not shooting on the line a lot, unless I'm mistaken. On film they don't, I can tell you that. But I think tonight I'm going to watch the film and you're going to see that they're well behind the line. But we feel like we have to do that to protect, for X amount of time. And then it got to the point, partly out of necessity and partly out of we're not in foul trouble. We felt like we could be a little bit more aggressive and not have to help as much. That's why I looked at the second half. It's like, holy cow, we look like, at times we look like the Iron Curtain out there. I've just never seen us look stronger, tougher, refusing to get beat on penetration, refusing to let a post player go by us. It was for me. It was fantastic, and I just love the way these guys compete.
Coach, you mentioned the rest of the schedule. Don't see any ranked opponents on that, but how important was it to get this victory in terms of the other goals that this team had?
I think it was a really, really important game for a lot of reasons. Obviously, one of our goals is to try to win the conference. Not to say that if we lost, we were out of the race, but we just certainly need an awful lot of help and no margin of error. So we knew that. Nobody's in the NCAA tournament right now. Nobody. They love to say you are, and you pick it up, and so-and-so's got you're in, and you're out, and you're in, and I think that's the biggest batch of fool's gold I've ever seen, and I hate for any of our players to ever think that because someone said we're in. We're not in. You're never in until the end when they add them all up. So that's critical, and then of course, we're playing for a seed too, and you want the highest seed because once you get in that tournament, matchups and who you have in the first and second round, that's pretty big. So to we all understood it. Our guys understood it. We did not over talk about it for sure, because I didn't want it to be, you know, it's not the end of the season type loss if you lose, but it was probably the biggest opportunity game of the, not probably, it was the biggest opportunity game of the year we had all year so far. And thankfully we came out on the right end of it.
At what point was Deshaun McDowell ruled out, and what was it like for you and your staff to prepare for the number 11 team in the
Well, it's
country
just kind of a day-to-day, you
with
know,
an
so
already short bench getting
it's
even shorter?
It's day-to-day, and it used to be more stressful for me. I tell you this, I have gotten an education in a short bench. Like I have never, I've been coaching a long time, okay, and I have never, ever, including last year, you know, when I coached the first 9 games, I had like 8 and 7, a lot, and then one game we had 6. So that was my first big experience with having 6 scholarship players. So that was last year, and then this year, of course, for most of the year, you know, we've had 7, and then we went to Central Florida with 6. We went to Temple with 6. We had 6 again today. And I'll tell you, I'm starting to get used to it. I'm starting to not panic, you know. It was, you just deal with it. But I will tell you this too, and Jonathan Wilfong, I have confidence in him. Why he's not a scholarship player. I'd have put him on scholarship had we been able to, but through the probation, we're not able to. So I feel really badly about that. But he's a senior, and he can play in these games. I mean, he can. So we do have another guy that I believe is ready to go play real minutes. You've seen him play real minutes before. But you know, I haven't been getting him in games because somehow, some way, these guys are playing 39, 38, 37, and staying out of foul trouble, and we do have 6 in our rotation. So do we want 7 plus Jonathan? You bet we do, but we've learned that, you know what, we can find a way to do it with 6.
What's McDowell day-to-day with?
Pardon?
What's McDowell day-to-day with?
I don't know if I can even talk about, I don't know there's sometimes I'm not allowed to talk about injuries, and I don't know if the waivers signed and all that, so I don't want to get me or you.
Generally doesn't violate FERPA, but.
What's that?
It said it generally doesn't.
He's,
Say what?
he's, let's tell me. It's up to you.
I'm allowed to talk about it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, he's got a concussion.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's going through.
So I'm not gonna get sued or anything like that. So, I was told never to talk about injuries because they have to have waivers signed.
Yeah.
Ours are?
Yep.
Okay, I just got a great education right here, advanced law, so thank you for that.
Tim, how do you feel about the NCAA selection committee coming out with a top 16 reveal with so much time left in the season?
Are you asking me what I think about it?
Yeah. I know what I think about it.
I'm gonna tell you that I think it's, if they're listening, I think it's wonderful. If they're the ones making the choices, I think it's just absolutely wonderful that they did that. Okay, so in case they're listening to me, I don't wanna make them mad. But truthfully, if they're not listening to me, I don't know that it's healthy. You know, I think this, and I've been feeling this for years, and probably no one in here cares what I think about it, but it does. We're in a conference race. You know what's going on in college basketball right now is people are trying to win their conference, and that is a big deal. It is a hard deal. It's an incredible accomplishment when you're a conference champion, because to me that's the true test of 18 games of all the things that come at you. And people nowadays, like, they just poo-poo it. Who cares? But who's in and who's out? Who cares about that? Who's in and who's out? Who's in and who's out? You're in, you're out, you lose a game. Now they're out, they're on the bubble, they're in. And I know from the fan standpoint, it's exciting and it's good, but I don't know, it's just taking the eye off the ball for me. Here's what I wish would happen. We would talk about conference races all across the country. You know what? When those were done, we talk about conference tournaments. And then we'd figure out who gets an automatic bid, and then we start really talking about who's in and who's out and all that. I think it'd be healthier. We're acting like to me, all these games then don't mean anything. You know, why do we even play them? Heck, it says they're in, it says they're out, let's not play them. And I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, and again, nobody asked my true opinion deep down, although you kind of did. But and I'm going to tell you this, I think it gives teams, I think it's dangerous for the players. I think it's very dangerous for the players because Lord knows they're on every media, social media. They know how to gather every information. I'm sure they're seeing, you know, and to them, if it shows they're in, they think they're in. You know, I mean, oh my God, they just said we're in. you're not in. You're a game or two away from being out. And I think kids, they don't totally understand that, and I think it's a dangerous deal. But hey, if they're listening, I think it's just wonderful. And I hope that I hope that we're one of those that they find in their heart to put us in the NCAA tournament.
Tim, you mentioned a minute ago that you've learned a lesson about a short bench. What does it say about the players that they've learned how to play as a short bench?
Oh, it says that they're incredibly competitive. It says they're incredibly mature and amazingly bright, because they know we don't have many to put in, so they know they can't foul. And they know, because we talk about all the time, like, listen, hey, if you think not playing hard and playing safe is the way you're going to stay out of foul trouble, you're crazy. That's the way you're going to get in foul trouble. My experience has been the nights you're in foul trouble, when your team's not really ready to play and you're a step slow and you end up reaching. You're reaching, you're a step slow, you're fouling. These guys haven't been a step slow. They know it. They get it. So to me, it speaks to the quality of their character and their drive and their intelligence, that they now know how to manage a game with 6 players or 7 players without getting in foul trouble. They even know how to manage the tempo a little bit. We talk about it. Hey, we want to run, but we can't just get the ball and run every single time we get the ball for no reason. We got to see if there's an advantage, and if there's not, we can't just get ourselves worn out and let 10 guys sub on us while we're subbing 6. And heck, they're even doing that. They understand when we talk about that. So we look for chances to run every time. But when it's not there, they're smart enough to, we can save a little bit.
Tim, you gave up 6 twos tonight, which is pretty impressive. Is that the best interior defense that you guys showed this year?
I think it was our best defense, period.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. They shot a lot of threes, and in the first half, a lot of their threes were because of the way we chose to play defense, and they took advantage, and that was good offense. Not surprising. They're a great team. This is what they play for. We knew it. We're kind of, one of our strategies was hope, which is not great. We just hope they miss. We'll cover down, and when they kick it out, we're going to hope they miss. And they certainly did not miss very often. But second half, I thought they shot threes out of desperation. I thought our defense was so good that a bunch of those threes they took were like, we can't get anything else, so we're going to shoot a guarded 3. And so, yeah, to me, this was our best defensive performance, given who we were playing.
One of the things we asked Shake and Ben, I'll ask you too. You always talk about one game at a time, and the next game's the most important. But
Isn't that what you're supposed to say? Isn't that exactly
That's what you're supposed to say, I guess.
Exactly.
But from a personal standpoint, to beat a team like Cincinnati, that's nationally ranked, national TV, how gratifying is this? How good does this one feel for you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. I don't want to overstate it, because I also know that 3 days from now we can all be, our heads are buried under our pillow. If things change around. But as I said before, there was a lot at stake in this game. We had a lot to gain in this game, and certainly to lose. But I thought we had more to gain, and not just for me, but we're all a little selfish. But for me, yeah, it was a big game. But I want our guys to get what they deserve. I thought they deserved to be ranked in the top 25. I love that they got ranked, because they deserve it. And I love the fact that they won today, because it'll. You know what? More people will be talking about them. More people will be looking at them. More people will respect them. And I think that not enough people around the country are really digging into what they're doing. I don't think they're really dug into it. But we are, and I respect the heck out of them. So the reason I feel so great is I think they deserve all the good things that happen for them. And that's really fun for me.